Well, this is a somber day for one Forte Yardash after his humiliating loss to Vinegar Strokes. Um, Mo's Picks Weekly is not quite as excited. However, I still will go through the weekly recaps here, a few more news and notes as always, and update everybody on the happenings around the league here. As I mentioned, myself struggled this week. Forte Yardash literally got lashed out, dominated, dare I say, by the Vinegar Strokes, aka the Rainstorm. Blame that strictly on my lineup issues. Obviously, with the trade issue that happened, I didn't start Thomas. Unfortunately, in NFL.com, you evidently cannot force a trade through, which I do not. This is almost enough for me to go ahead and switch the lead to Yahoo and do all the extra work into it, just because I'm annoyed by that fact. Could have started Thomas, extra 18 points. Could have started Bernard, who put up almost 20. Thursday night just absolutely killed me, bad start. However, on the bright side, I'm still first in the West, 5th overall. It is what it is. Vinegar Strokes, I'll give you a little golf clap for that win. I don't think you earned it. Nonetheless, you did score quite a bit more than you were projected. Good job starting Josh Gordon, put up 32 points. Starting running backs combined 50 points total. And you did play your best overall lineup, which isn't saying much because as soon as you start hitting buys, aka next week, your team gets a lot weaker overall. You do move to second in the East and 4th overall, just as yours truly. I did not pick that game. I lost that one to go to 0-1. Another game that I did not pick correctly, Unnecessary Fisting dug deep into the Prodigy. 141 to 100. Unnecessary Fitness, again, I'll apologize to you. I did it last week to, jeez, who was it? One of the people, Final Answer, Pence Hopper, one of them. I picked against you again. You won. The curses continues for me. You climbed to second place overall. Stayed first in the North now by 2 games. Big players for you. Tony Romo beat his projections by 20 points, which, let's be honest, he was only projected 6 or 7 points. So he had a much better game. Thank you, NFL.com. Cecil Shorts came up big for you. Had a big game against a strong Seattle secondary. One of the best games, actually, so far this year. Surprising from Jaguar. And Prater, 20 points from a kicker. Just kicking from all over the place in Denver. Nice job with the start. Prodigy. You had a couple people that came to play. Wes Welker, Antonio Dates did a good job. As you've already stated, your Michael Finley, concussed in the first quarter, put up 0 points for you. Your big pickup, Eddie Royal, went back to his typical Eddie Royal status, only put up 4 points, while Richardson, who was in the big trade, played more of a second-tier type running back for you. So not really a big impact there. Colin Kaepernick put up your second straight bad week. You might need more production out of your QB spot. Geno Smith, Phillip Rivers, both would have been better options this week. You dropped to 9th overall, stayed second in the North, 2 games behind the Fisters. Rectal Renegades dominated the Final Answer, 167 to 95. I did pick that, moved up to 1 and 2. Jamal Charles started the week off, the only person on Thursday night who really performed with 30 points. Peyton Manning, best player so far in the NFL when it comes to fantasy football, another 30 for him. And really just overall great consistency between Burleson, Dobson, Hartline, Powell. Just an excellent overall week for you. Couple issues. Hakeem Nicks, cause for worry, 0 points. I believe he's had 1 good game so far. What's happening there? Nate Burleson. I talked to Adam Schefter this morning. He did not relay any breaking news, unfortunately, but he was in a car crash early this morning, broke his arm. See you later. Who are you going to do? Or who are you going to do? What are you going to do? Who are you going to pick up to replace him? Moved to 3rd overall. You're now 1st in the South, and you do have the most overall points so far in the league. Nice job, Rectal. Final Answer. Well, no apologies needed again this week. Dropped to 8th overall. You're now at the bottom of the South. You've actually scored the least amount of points in the league. Almost actually 200 less than the Rectal Renegades. Jonathan Franklin, you're welcome. Gave him to you for basically nothing because Redmond's horrible at this point. Had scored 3 times the amount of points as Arian Foster. You have Foster on a long contract. Do you cut him loose? Do you cut ties? Did you pay too much for him for too long? Make a trade? Who knows? Andre Johnson also got injured. He was out half the game. Pettigrew posts up another 0. And then look, Joe Flacco, 6 points. I'm looking at a guy, a.k.a. myself, in my own screen, They had 3 quarterbacks put up around 20 points or more this week. You may want to talk to me. Next game, Pierce Brosnan shut down Team 10, 111-82. So I moved to 2-2 for the week as I picked that one. Drew Brees starting to play like a boss again, 38 points. Nelson continued a solid season with 17. Although Pierce did have the least amount of points for any winner, you should probably thank me, aka the schedule maker. A little bit of question marks happening though at the same time. CJ Spiller, what's going on? 10 yards or 12 yards or something? Came away with 1 point. Nursed a little injury. Again, do you do something with him at this point? Do you get rid of him or do you continue on? Pierce is now 7th overall, 2nd in the South. Team 10, I'm starting to wonder, is he tanking already? 0-3. You're starting Rob Gronkowski? I don't know. Selleck was on the bench. I'm interested to know what's happening. Chris Ivory also hurt your plans. 0.5 points. He got hurt right at the beginning of the game. Sounds like he's going to be out for a while. Another win for the Rectal Renegades there. Griffin III has not lived up to potential. Garcon says he's obviously not healthy. He's not the same running back or quarterback whatsoever as what he was last year. You now had the second lowest amount, or excuse me, this week you scored the second lowest amount of points of any team. Fall to third, stay in third in the North, and last overall. The rebuilding process may come early for Team 10. Fence Hopper jumped over Ditka. That put me at 3-2 for the week as I picked that one as well. The Fence continues his winning ways, his hot streak. He's now 3-0 overall, and actually first overall in the league. Can thank his running backs, as always, combined 45 points between AP and Yoik Bell. Floyd didn't even score for him, and he still won, and Eifert only had 1.7. So out of his 119, that came... 2 of his players only had 1.7 combined. So lucky little schedule maker there. Victory for you too, Fence Hopper. Gajkowski was a third leading scorer actually on your team with 17 points, which is a solid outing for a kicker. Ditka, as he stated on the message boards, he does suck. You continue your struggles. You stay in third in the East, 11th overall. Could be worse. Could be the final answer. Multiple players on your team had rough weeks. Marlon Brown was a big pickup. Hasn't really done anything. Ridley, Lynch, all put up below 7 points for the week. You did have Stafford on your bench, who had nearly 26 points, and more showed up this week with 24. It actually could have made the difference in this game if you started those 2 players instead of 2 others on your team. That would have been a victory. I think you're also at the point where you need to decide, are you going to keep fighting for this year, or are we looking at the future already, possibly? To be determined. Finally, I ended the week 4-2 as the Dutch Oven baked Duke 198-94. Dutch Oven made this one a blowout very quickly, and then finalized it on Sunday night with Antonio Brown scoring over 40 points, Cam Newton 35, Jimmy Graham 35, Jordan Cameron 30, Forte 20. Just a ridiculous amount of points. This was the second most points scored in the league this year. As you know, he did have the trade, as Forte is going to be going over to myself. He does acquire 2 great pieces, though. This could be a big swing, back or forth. Even in our own division. This is a divisional swing. Could be interesting. He stays second in the West, moves up to 6 overall. You have had the easiest schedule thus far, as the teams you have played have put up the least overall points combined, which is actually a fun fact going into Duke. It's actually nearly 200 points less than the teams that Duke has played. So who really is the better team? Duke continues to have bad luck, although it was by far his worst performance of the year. Bringing up the rear in the West, 10 overall. Another team that has to decide what they're playing for possibly at this point. Calvin is the lone bright spot. Do you trade Calvin for a lot of future help? I don't know. A lot of contenders already out there. Should have probably taken Ray Rice out. It was announced he wasn't playing. Bernard Pierce got the start. I got the memo, put Pierce in. However, Ray Rice just decided to stay in, put up 0 points. Edelman came back to actually be an Edelman with 11 points. He didn't have 57 catches for 58 yards this week or anything. Vernon Davis also got injured this week. Just an overall rough week for Duke. Overall. So that's my recap. 4-2, not quite the 5-1, thanks to my own personal loss. I will take care of that shortly. Overall happy. As I mentioned, just a little brief update. Trade issue. Could be the reason to get rid of NFL.com. There's no reason that this crap should have happened in any way. That's why we made the trade when we traded. I guess I am glad that happened to me, and I was the one affected by it other than anybody else. I do want to ask if everybody would be okay going down to a one-day trade time, one-day reject trade time going forward. If someone accepts a trade in this type of league, it's obviously going to be a good-to-go situation for the most part, unless something's ridiculously bad, and we have enough participation where we will know that rather quickly, I think. So think about that, talk about it. I will put it up to a vote, just so everybody knows as well. I do also want to ask again about the trophy. I've gotten a little feedback for a few people. Has anybody seen anything better than what I've already presented? If so, go ahead and post it on the league. If not, that will also be a poll that will be coming soon. Video updates, would love to see more. I do enjoy the lots of trash talk that's happening on our page, back and forth. You know, some good, some bad, some ugly. I like it in the video format better than any. It can be done video on your phone, doesn't take long. Spreadsheet, I'll be sending out a new one as soon as possible for everybody. Has been a few changes obviously with this latest trade happening, with a few pickups from last week, so I will be getting that out as well. I will also be probably tomorrow or Thursday afternoon. I may wait until Thursday or late afternoon, early evening to make my weekly picks, as everyone seems to switch their lineups quite a bit on Thursday. Hard for me to make my proper picks without people having the right lineup in, so that may be a slight change. Otherwise, Brandon Marshall, Chicago Bears 3-0. We'll continue on strong. If my record's as good as the Bears' record is going to be this year, I'm going to be extremely happy. Let's just start it that way. We're a great team, going to continue forward. Until tomorrow, Thursday, great to talk to everybody. Look forward to hearing from Adam Scheffner here in the next 24 to 48 hours as well with any new updates. Talk to everyone soon.